It has to be far back or you can't see any of me. I'm so wide. Don't put that in. Do you like almonds? I love almonds. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to an unsalted bowl of almonds. It's Stank Tank. What was that? Did you hear that?
No.
Like a
Bye everyone.
I'm not letting you edit that in.
Edit your own damn video.
Okay. So with the recent abortion ban in Alabama, there's a lot of talk and debate about abortion and women's rights. Today, I just kind of want to talk about that, put my 2 cents in, and actually talk about the logistics of the actual ban, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions and just like misinformation that's being spread around about it too. So my personal view on all this, we'll get into later. The actual ban makes it almost impossible for a woman to get an abortion for any reason after like 6 weeks. And a lot of abortions happen after 6 weeks. You're not supposed to even tell your family that you're, pregnant until a month in, or I think after the first trimester actually. So for them to say that you're supposed to know before 6 weeks and you can get an abortion at that time is pretty unrealistic. So extenuating circumstances are like the circumstances where a woman has been raped, or it's incest, or the woman or the baby are at a risk. So if the woman is going to die after she's had the baby, she gets an abortion so she does not die, because that baby is not valued over her life at that point. My personal view doesn't really matter whenever it comes down to legislation, because my personal view states that you should only get an abortion for extenuating circumstances. The problem with that is that it's really hard to differentiate between people that are raped and people that are lying about being raped, which is terrible to say, but it's a hard line to draw. So, I mean, really, whenever it comes down to legislation, I think that it should be completely overall. I've actually changed my view in the past few months, the past few weeks, because of thinking about being a woman in America and having to be raped or be raped by your father, or you die, you have a higher chance of dying than living, but you have to put this baby to term. It's tough for me to say that you can have the choice to save yourself or save the baby of a very terrible life. But the problem with only having that choice for people who have extenuating circumstances is that there's no way to differentiate, and then they don't get to have an abortion. So it's either for all or none, and at this point I'm for all, because I can't justify not giving it to the people that need it just because the people that don't need it are getting them. This is where I'm at with it. So one of the biggest things that I've heard about is birth control and miscarriage, which, I mean, to preface this, I am a very, very conservative, right-wing person, but this really does come down to a bunch of old white guys that really just don't know enough about female anatomy. Birth control is not only used to prevent birth, it's actually used for a lot of other things. For instance, it's used for a regular period, and it's used for cramps, and it's used for things of that sort. So it's actually a very needed thing, and it is a very good thing. And for them to demonize it and make it, to say it's a facet of abortion is pretty ridiculous. Whenever it comes to miscarriage, they really, I don't know where they're going. I really don't understand these Alabama senators and these Alabama lawmakers. I don't even know. I completely find what they've done deplorable. I just don't know what they were thinking with this bill. I do want to point out, I Googled abortion ban, or Alabama abortion ban. I Googled Alabama abortion ban bill, Alabama abortion ban document, and all I could find were things about the ban, not actually anything, not the physical document that was the abortion ban, which I think there's something to be said there, that it's so hard to actually find sources, but it's really easy to find a headline. All the headlines were, Trump disagrees, and this is, such a terrible bill, but where's the actual bill? And then I click on the articles and they don't source their research. I think whenever I, Google Alabama abortion ban, it should be the first thing that comes up is the actual bill, because I want to be informed just as much as the lawmakers need to be informed. Not all conservatives are bad, I don't think. I'm not a bad conservative, I don't think. I think I'm a pretty reasonable person. That's why I've changed my view on abortion so radically, and such a big change in my personal life. The thing that really changed my mind was, and she really opened up my eyes to, like, her being raped with a child and a husband and having to keep the baby in Alabama. If she lived in Alabama, she'd have to keep that baby if she did not find out she was pregnant until 6 weeks after. And I can't. That really opened up my eyes and made me really empathetic and sympathetic or empathetic. I can't remember which one it is. But it really opened up my eyes to how it would be to be a woman and have a situation like that. And I can't put their life and their situation below a life that isn't fully developed yet and isn't really a life yet. So that's where I'm at with it. Personally, I believe that a 6-week-old fetus is a life. But the problem with that is not everybody does. And that's why morality isn't linear, is because we don't all think the same way. And I think that's where it has to be either all or none. Trump did come out and say that he did not find this bill, okay. He had a very long spread of tweets. Here are those tweets. Where he said that it was deplorable, it was terrible, it was bad. He thinks it should only be for extenuating circumstances, which I can respect, but it should not be completely outlawed in Alabama. So, I will make a whole video on Trump and how people really demonize him and why he's not that bad. I don't think he's perfect by any means, but I'm going to do a whole video on him. So that's probably be the next video, or gun control. Let me know down in the comments what you think the next video should be, because I'm unoriginal and I need ideas. You guys need to do your own research. I think the biggest part of all this is not being informed. I think the biggest way to fix any problem, as like a old white man not knowing enough about female anatomy, is education. And I think that's a whole nother video in itself too. I never knew that it took no time for a woman to get pregnant if they're ovulating. I thought it took up to 3 days, and that's why I thought Plan B was the perfect thing for women that want to get abortions, is that as soon as you have unprotected sex, you wake up the next day, you go and you get Plan B. Plan B doesn't always work if a woman is ovulating. I never knew that until a few days when my sister-in-law told me. So I think, yeah, that's the big another big reason why we need to have abortion in America. I think it's a necessary evil, because for the people that are in a hardship and in a bad situation and have been raped and incest has happened, I think it's necessary. And while it's evil, it needs to happen for those people. All right, that's it for today's video. Like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed your almonds, and yeah, see you in the next video.